So, story 1.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I actually was just thinking about Cincinnati, though, when we saw that zombie guy. Remember that at 3 a.m.?
Quick side
Sorry.
note.
I just looked at my dogs.
Before we get started.
Because we were just discussing Dogman. And I looked at my dogs. And I was like, oh, they've seen some shit.
Yeah, we worked pretty early. And we were leaving Cincinnati. This is before the pandemic broke out. We were going down the road and there's nobody. We're near the Cincinnati.
I think the pandemic had broke out and we had to have that piece of paper to show proof that we were allowed to be on the road. But it was still like at 3 a.m.
I thought this was pre that. But I don't know. You're probably right. Anyway, we saw this guy, like, he was just walking like a zombie down the road. And, like, ever since then, I just referred to him as Zombie Man. And
he probably was, like, on drugs, but he did look like a zombie.
Probably.
Like,
he definitely.
Crazy stuff. And you saw a wolf, like, on the road. It wasn't like, I thought it was a coyote, but you said it was like
a wolf. Looked like a wolf, man.
Which reminds me of Dog Man, but we're talking about Goat Man.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and get, all right. So, story 1. We're going to start off from my home state with the Goatman of Louisville, Kentucky. And he's known as the Popelick Monster. That's what he's called. That's what he's referred to as. So there is the Popelick Train Trestle, and it is in eastern Jefferson County in Louisville, Kentucky. The Goatman there, he's described as a creature with the body of a man, the legs of a goat or a sheep, and horns, and here we go with yellow eyes. Now, if you guys throw back to what I've mentioned before about the, I believe it was the Yahoo maybe, or something like that had yellow eyes. There's certain Sasquatches that have yellow eyes. So we're talking about Goatman in Louisville. He has yellow eyes. And supposedly, this creature, this beast, this man, carries a wood-cutting axe. And he has he will lure people to this train trestle with his, it's like hypnosis, and he uses like a kind of like a siren voice to lure people to their doom. And he's also been known to jump on passing cars, like attack cars. And this all kind of like just plays into like his story, his origin story. So there are a couple different. Now, this is something too that's interesting. Also, the Goatman of Maryland and then the Goatman of Texas has different origin stories as well. And they're all like kind of similar. So the origin story of the Goatman in Louisville, Kentucky, the Popelick Monster, as he's known. The first one is he was an escaped circus freak. And the train was passing through on this trestle back in the day, like the 30s or the 50s. Now, keep in mind, this train trestle that stands, it's been up since the 1800s, and it's still used to this day. So, from the 1800s to today,
the train tracks are still being used?
Yes, still being used to this day. So, legend has it in this first origin story that the Popelick Monster, the Louisville Goatman, the train crashed and he escaped. He was the only circus freak, the only carny to survive, and he has just stuck around that train trestle all these years since the 1800s.
He was terrified. That poor guy.
Exactly. I mean,
just a side note, with carnies back in the day, as much as it sounds so horrible, exploiting, is that the word for it? Exploiting?
Yeah, to exploit.
Exploit mentally handicapped and disfigured human beings. As wrong as that is, actually, people were able to make a living, as opposed to like back in the day. It was as unaccepting as the world is now. Extremely was not so back in the day. So at least that was a form of work, and as humiliating as disgusting as that was. At least they were having.
It was as they say, it was a double-edged sword, you know.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things.
Some of them made a killing. So.
They did. So that is what it is.
So did he like jump from the train, or did he just
it wrecked? That origin story is that
so
all I can find is all I can find in that.
I need the hard-hitting facts.
All I can find in that origin story is that he escaped.
So he was mistreated.
He escaped when the train wrecked. So that's origin. That's origin story number 1 about the Popelick Monster. Origin story number 2 takes a similar turn, just like the origin story kind of the Goatman in Texas. Now, but this one is, this guy he was a farmer, and essentially he was a goat farmer and things were not going very well, and he ended up sacrificing his goats and making a deal with Satan to prosper. And Satan basically blessed him, and he prospered, but kind of like, the cost kind of screwed him over, turned him into the Goat Man, and he ends up haunting that train trestle.
You reap what you sow.
That's true.
Don't really feel sorry for him.
And like that story was told in like 2014. There was a historian in Louisville named David. I think Domain is how you pronounce his name.
So far, these are both believable stories.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Because there's such things as dark magic out there. But
exactly.
I would never do that.
Hell no. Not just for now, just to be satisfied for now and to spend eternity going through that stuff.
Like
and that's what that
you pay.
Exactly.
It's normally double the fee of what you put in.
And basically, so that tale was the Goat Man arose as local farmer back in the day. He tortured a herd of goats for Satan, signed a contract with him, forfeited his soul.
Feel sorry for the first guy. Do not feel sorry for the second guy.
No. So you got those two versions of Goatman. And there was a short film made of the Goatman back in 1988. And it was like 16 minutes, and it was made for $6,000. I'm not sure what the filmmaker's name was. It's like Ron Shieldneck, something like that. And it was called The Legend of the Popolick Monster. So this story's been around, I think, at that time. I think they said for like 3 or 4 generations. So that's in the 80s. And that movie kind of like threw the company that used the train trestle up in arms. They were worried about kids and stuff, or people coming to adventure seekers, thrill seekers coming to the train tracks and, basically getting hurt or even worse, dying. So they were worried about that.
Yeah, so they supposedly made up stories to spook people away. But the irony of that is now everyone wants to be like TikTok famous.
That's true.
So it actually draws attention now.
It does. Now, we started this off and I was talking to you about, what do you think of when you think of modern day cryptids and stuff, and Sasquatch comes to mind. Now, we don't ever hear any stories that I'm aware of people dying for seeking Sasquatch, or I haven't heard anything.
People go missing.
Missing. I got my own theories about that, and I think Sasquatch plays in that.
Do you think like portals or something?
But I think portals and cave systems are both a possibility. So really quick.
Really quick. Do you believe in the center of the earth theory?
I don't know. I need to like really dabble into that more.
Like there's a
I think it's possible.
That's the one thing I'm like,
I think it's possible.
Okay.
So
go on.
Now with this, like, there's never a scenario that I'm aware of
that Bigfoot kills people.
To where, and I'm not saying Bigfoot hasn't, but what I'm getting at is this right here. People have gone to the train tracks, to the train trestle, seeking Goatman, and there have been a number of fatalities and casualties seeking this. Now, the whole myth of Goatman is that he actually lures people there to the train trestle with his voice. He kind of like hypnotizes them, seduces them, if you will, and causes them to get hit by the train, causes them to die. And there are examples of this happening going all the way back to 1988.
Ooh, being hit by a train.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
There was a 17-year-old guy. His name was Jack Charles Baum II. He was hit and killed by a train, while another man was injured trying to cross the trestle. In 1994, a man was killed by the train after his ATV overturned on the trestle and it trapped him on the track. In 2000, a 19-year-old fell to his death after encountering a train. And it doesn't end there. Recently, in the past couple of years, there's been a couple of deaths at the train trestle for people going to seek out Goatman.
Is it like a curve, and is it a blind?
It's a huge ass. I can show you. It's a huge ass train trestle, and it's way above the highway. So, on April 23rd, 2000,
who was driving a quad on a train?
It's Kentucky.
You're just asking for trouble.
It's Kentucky. On April 23rd, 2016, a 26-year-old tourist, Raquel Bain, she was from Ohio. She died after being hit by a train while searching for the Popolick monster. Her boyfriend survived by hanging on the side of the trestle. That was in 2016. Now, fast forward to May 26, 2019. Savannah Bright, she was 15 years old, pronounced dead at the scene after she and another teenage girl, they were on the train tracks near the Poplick Trestle. She died.
Spoiler alert. No.
Her companion, her partner that was with her, her friend, survived. So whether you believe in the ideal, the concept of this Goatman, what's become known as the Poplick Monster, whether he exists or not, whether he was a circus freak that escaped back in the day, whether he was a goat farmer that sold his soul to the devil and was transformed, turned into a half-man, half-beast, a goat man, whether you believe either one of those stories and that he exists or not, the fact of the matter is
something's going on in that
people have died at the train trestle in Poplick seeking out this monster. So that's what I was talking about. Like, people go out hunting for Bigfoot, and people get hurt, and people get killed doing things.
People get lost in the
But
woods.
there isn't a specific spot to where, like the Patterson film from the 60s.
Like in the one spot
people
where
don't
Bigfoot
go
was
to that.
spotted,
People don't go to that spot where
That's a good
Bigfoot was
example.
filmed
That's a good
and die there and get killed. So even though the origins of this Goatman are kind of iffy and kind of like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of...
You know me. I'm open-minded. I have a lot going on in my brain right now.
But I'm just saying, take into consideration that
it's all in the same spot.
the Poplick Monster in Louisville, Kentucky at the train trestle, whether he's real or not, it doesn't matter if you believe in him or if you don't. He has claimed the lives of innocent people who have come there searching for him.
So as opposed to what Bigfoot is virtually like an animal, like a living, breathing flesh.
Yeah.
Like as aliens are living, breathing flesh. This is more like an entity.
Yeah.
This is more like, this isn't the same Goatman from the 1800s, like living there. This would be like his spirit or per se.
Could be.
So I'm looking into this way too literal, though.
We're gonna wind this story down right now, and I wanted to just put this out there, and even the people, because I think this is very close to Waverly Hills, which is one of the most haunted places in America.
I took you there for your birthday?
It was awesome.
Oh,
the person
surprised you.
You did. The person that runs Waverly Hills, they've even, after I think it was the last death that occurred there in 2019, they've put out statements talking about, don't climb this train trestle. Like, we're free to go there. And I think that's the biggest take for anybody out there that's looking for the Poplick Monster in Louisville, Kentucky, whether how far you've traveled to come see it or not. Do not climb the train trestle and risk your life. Because whether you believe in the Goatman or not, the fact of the matter is, on the Poplick train trestle...
Does it have the times of their deaths? Like, is it at nighttime at a certain time?
No,
is it a witching hour?
I don't think so.
So I'm a very open-minded person. I do believe in the Goatman. But with what you just told me right now, I'm beginning to think there might be an echo system around there. Like, you can't hear the train being blown or something, and it's too late. I think that might be more of a geographic situation instead of supernatural. Or completely 360, it's like a Bermuda Triangle, and it's like a portal area, and death is brought there. If you know what I mean. So it could be completely supernatural, and it's like a Bermuda Triangle situation, or it's something. My intuition, and I'm so open-minded about this, guys, my intuition is more leaning towards it's freaking Kentucky, and there's something wrong with that train track. Like, someone fucked up.
Well, there's something going on, so I wanted to share that because I thought it was very interesting. And even though the origins of this Goatman are spotty at best, the fact of the matter is, if you're going there, be careful, because several people have died there, and man, it just ain't worth it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.